We are. Good Sunday evening, everyone. I'm Donna
Hello.
Whyte, and I live on Shelton Road in Moreland in the Shaker Heights community. It's Sunday. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Sunday, November 8th, 2020. And here we are again. This is our sixth witness to history. I think I'm right about that. And this is an idea that grew out of Moreland's unique neighborhood network. It's nurtured our friendships across our community throughout this pandemic in particular. But it's an idea I think that will live on.
I hope so.
Thank you, Kevin, Lee, John, behind the Zoom controls there. Thank you. You don't want me behind the controls. And of course, the library keeps this recorded in their catalog, so it's available to probably many generations to come that will appreciate that the Moreland neighbors came together to have conversation, to know each other and learn about our experiences while we're here in 2020. There's Megan right there with the library. Hi there, Megan. And so also thank you to the city of Shaker Heights, because Witness to History also appears in our Moreland Rising every month. And so thank you for being here, everybody. And I'm sure more people are going to join us soon. What better way than to start a week filled with new possibilities? Let me say that again. New possibilities and the wonderful opportunity to get to know our neighbors in Moreland. Tonight, I have the distinct honor and pleasure of having as our guests Mr. Ernest and Mrs. Jan Jenkins. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about this conversation that we had just the other day. I felt like I was witnessing a love story that spreads out from the Jenkins through their family into so many others, many who are right here at Witness to History tonight. So we're all going to witness this wonderful story. And so here we are. How are you all doing, Jan and Ernie?
Oh, we're doing really good.
Just fine.
That's
Thank you.
wonderful.
Really good,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for being here with us this evening. So I'm going to ask you first, both of you, how did you come to live in Shaker Heights and in the Moreland community specifically?
Well, do you want me to start from the beginning, or when we first came here to Cleveland?
Yes. Oh,
Or
yes.
okay. Well, I'm from a town south of us called Alliance, and when I graduated from high school, I moved up here with my aunt and got a job at Mount Sinai Hospital, which was a great place, really a great place to work because it was a real nurturing place. So when I was at Mount Sinai, I learned how to do. I I'll back up a minute. I was at in high school, and we had a program called Diversified Cooperative Training, where I learned how to do some lab work. My intention was to probably go to be a lab technician. However, that didn't work out because I got married young, and uh, and so then I had two children, our two daughters, and then moved to Cleveland, where I lived with my aunt, worked at Mount Sinai,
Hmm.
and then that marriage didn't work. So we needed more money to survive. So I was looking for a better place and went to TRW to work,
Hmm.
where I met Ernie.
Oh,
And Ernie, that's us at TRW. That's
yeah.
where Ernie was my supervisor. He circled in the upper left corner, and I was one of the machinists there.
Wonderful.
So we were running NC machines, numerical controlled
Hmm.
machinery, and so Ernie taught all of those people in that picture how to do their job, and I
Hmm.
happened to be one of them. So we met there, and it just so happens my dad worked there as well, just not in the same department, and he kind of turned Ernie on to me, and Ernie started winking.
Yeah.
I
You
like
see my
that.
right eye going?
There.
That's
And
wonderful.
So we started dating, and that's probably our first date. Monica says that's a little bit soon for you to be sitting on Dad's lap, isn't it? So that's our first date, and then we got married. We lived in Warrensville for a while, and then we moved to Shaker. We've been here in Shaker about
36 years.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So we stayed on Avalon for a while before we moved to this house that you're showing here now.
Yes. Beautiful.
So and so here we are. So
Yes.
we
Yes.
worked, finished working at TRW and retired from there, and now we're here.
Okay. And Ernie, tell us a bit about your background before you went to TRW. You told me that you're a
I was
Clevelander.
born here in Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
and the project 55th in Sculver, right behind East Tech High School.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived there for about 12 years. And upon my father passing away, my mother, he had told her to get a home and move, get the kids a home. So we moved to Whyte Park
Mm-hmm.
and on 84th Street. And the family lived there for about 55 years
Oh, wow.
in
Nice.
Whyte Park.
Mm-hmm.
But I, while I was at East in project, I had at least 9 buddies of mine. We were like a little rascal. And we've been all over the
Remember that.
project, all under it, and we were just freely moving around free.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And my mom didn't know I couldn't hear when I was living there, but I was born with a hearing defect. When I started kindergarten at Whyte,
Mm-hmm.
and the teacher called her to the school, and that's where she had me go. Ernest, go get that chair down there. So I went to get this chair, and she's calling me back, and I couldn't hear her. So that's when my mom found out I couldn't hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been reading lips throughout school until we moved, till I started junior high school in Thomas Edison.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what started at the 7th grade to the 12th grade. And I ended up learning my trade there.
Mm-hmm.
And after after I graduated from Thomas Edison, I went to MDAT, which was the Manpower Training Act.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on 30th and Woodland. And I ran into a teacher there that taught me in the machine shop there at the school
Okay.
at Thomas Edison. And we took the kids to, well, not kids, they were about my age. We went to TRW
Mm-hmm.
to take them on a tour. And a lot of them went and got jobs, but I took me about 3 months before I decided to go there.
Okay.
And I walked from 84th and Wade Park all the way out to 200th Street
Yes, you told me
and
that.
applied for a job. And I was
Mm-hmm.
hired right on the spot.
Wow.
And about 2 or 3 weeks later, supervisor came up to me and said, I need you to train all these guys here. They've been running the same machine for years.
Mm.
And that's where I started training people.
Yeah.
And some of them resisted, but they gave in. And I
Okay.
trained them to move around. So when the guy's absent from work, somebody can fill right in.
Yes. Yes.
And then I left there and went to a department they called PAD, which was a nuclear department. Well, nuclear was up front where Jan was originally at. And I went to torpedo and blade,
My goodness.
pumps, booster pumps and everything for the jets.
Oh.
And that's where I was back there training people. And I made a lot of trips for the company and other divisions of in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Oakland, California, and Southern Ohio, Cincinnati, and to look at new machines and train people and get ideas from them as well.
Oh my goodness.
I would
Oh,
like to add, while we're still at TRW,
yeah.
I didn't know that I had an angel at TRW. Ernie was
Oh,
my angel.
oh.
I went to third shift so I would make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And um, I didn't really know that I was going to be in the department by myself. So there were only like 5 people in the whole plant. And the plant is about a block long.
Mm.
So when they left, they turned all the lights out. So
Okay.
I was in this big, huge, dark building, just running my machine under the light at night, pretty much by myself. But Ernie was in another department, and he would make rounds at night, and he
Mm-hmm.
noticed me over there. That was even before we met. He noticed me over there, and turned on some extra lights for me. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know why the lights came on until just
Okay.
a few days ago when we were talking about it.
Isn't that
So I
something?
wasn't, I don't know why I wasn't afraid to be in that
Mm-hmm.
huge dark building by myself, but
Well, you didn't know Ernie was there.
I didn't know
All
Ernie
right.
was there. He was my
Well,
angel.
That's why you
it was
felt
my
safe.
routine to make the round in the plant.
Mm-hmm.
I always went for a walk anyway,
Mm.
and I reported it, that she was there. And
Mm-hmm.
it was another young lady in another area the same way in the dark.
Okay.
And I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yes.
So
Well,
I turned on lights for them.
I noticed in the picture that you are the only woman in that particular picture.
Yeah,
Yes, bring this up.
And
yeah,
this
there,
group here, yes.
yeah. In this group, there weren't that many women
Mm-hmm.
doing this work.
No.
There was probably 3 of us after a while. I was the
Isn't that
first,
something?
and then 2 other women came along later
Right.
um, for this department. Yeah,
Now
but
I know we have pictures of your parents as well,
yeah,
Jan.
I'll
If
show you
we
my.
could, yes, if we could see pictures of your parents. There, your
Yeah, that's my
parents.
mom and my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad was the one who always told me that you can do anything that you see anybody else doing, you can do. And so I felt confident that when I went to the plant, I felt confident when I went to the hospital that it was just a matter of whomever trained me telling me what to do, how to do it. And it just so happens all the places I've worked, I've always had really good people train me and really good reactions to me being there. And Ernie was really a godsend at TRW because the job was really a complicated job.
Unbelievable. And okay, you mentioned some of the things that were manufactured there. If you could just let us know just a few of the things that were manufactured at TRW.
We made propellers for airplanes. We made pumps for airplanes. We made pumps for submarines. We made
And they were like booster pumps to get the plane up off the ground.
mhm.
I participated in a prototype work for a pump that flew for over 80,000 hours.
Mm.
And I was given the award for it along with a few other guys.
Mm.
And when I first started there was a rifle line. So we were making
What?
rifles,
Okay.
gun line they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were making rifles in the early 60s.
That
And
was remnants from the war, previous war,
right,
wasn't
from the
it?
previous war.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
And
Okay.
so they were kind of wrapping up with that. And we've got a government job to from Westinghouse and GE to produce the big, larger blades for the bigger planes.
Isn't that
Uh,
something?
and the B-1 bomber was still having parts made by us, which the other plants weren't doing.
Isn't that
But
something?
when we made them, and they ship them out somewhere else to work out to somebody else, and they didn't want it because it was complicated, and they send it back to us.
The jobs.
The
Well,
jobs.
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And,
So,
I mean, the backbone of Cleveland for
yeah,
so
right,
many
Absolutely.
years,
right.
Yeah.
manufacturing
So,
so many years, and still is.
right.
We don't need to pretend the manufacturing is gone.
Yes.
And the work and the value of the work and the just what it takes to do your work. Wow.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
there were a lot of guys I trained, not only just employees, the blue collars. I trained the supervisors, foremen, programmers. I tweak a lot of programmers' jobs in to make them run better.
Wow.
And
I know they didn't want you all to leave. It's
no,
valuable. The value of just, human capital, what you bring to the job and just the wealth of what it is that we have is the benefit of the work that you've done and how many people you've trained, generations of people.
Yeah,
You
by
train.
now.
Yeah,
wow,
absolutely.
it's quite a
Absolutely.
bit, quite a few.
Absolutely. All right. So why did you move to Shaker? You were in Warrensville. You said you were Warrensville and then moved to Shaker. And tell us a bit about your
Uh,
family and your Shaker
well,
story.
I was just traveling around. I've always liked Shaker, and we usually go through Chagrin to going out to Geauga Lake,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always, well, this is a nice area, and but as time went on, leaving work one day, I came through Avalon. That's
Mm-hmm.
the first street we moved to. And a guy was working on a house, and I kind of slowed down and stopped. Hey, come on here and look at this house. I don't know why he thought I was looking for a house, but I was. And I pulled on in the driveway and went in, looked around, came and got my wife, and we went back. We fell in love with the house.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I was excited about it because my incentive was to be in the best school system I
Mm-hmm.
could be in for our children. And I felt like we can't afford those girls, those guys right there.
That too.
Daughters.
So um, we weren't rich, and so we felt like if we can, we'll just invest in the property and go to um, uh, put ourselves in a good school system. That will be the best way to get our girls a good start, the
Well,
best we
and
had to offer.
and for anybody who might not happen to know who your daughters are, if you would introduce them to us.
Sure, yeah, Monica Boone is our daughter. The
Yes.
one on the right is Monica, and the one on the left is Melanie Boone Tuberville.
Yes, yes. And I know you all are here with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so those of us in Moreland, we know Monica. She keeps us informed and sometimes makes us do some things that we didn't know that we could, like put us on stage. All right, so moving on. You never know. You never quite know. So tell us a bit more about your family. About your family. I mean, this is the conversation we had, was about how it is that you met and you worked at TRW, but then you really talked about family.
Oh,
And
yeah.
tell us about your family.
Yeah, our family is really our motivation. I mean, we do what we do for our family. We try to carry on from our grandparents. I think I have a picture or so. We have
Yeah.
some pictures of our grandparents that this is a picture of Ernest.
Uh, the one on the left is the family tree.
Mm.
That is my great grandfather and great grandmother.
Oh, wonderful.
And there's a family reunion there in the middle at Shaker Lake.
Okay.
And so that's current. That would be have been a current.
Yeah, that's a current.
Within the last 10 years, and my family's pictures are behind the photo strip over here on the right.
Nice.
And so our grandparents and parents always taught us to do our best. We don't have to be brilliant, but we just have to be and do our best at whatever we're doing.
Yes.
And so we try to keep that up.
Have you done genealogy? I saw a list there.
Yeah, I did have this, if John could bring that picture back, which one? Actually, the list on the left here, these are Bible entries of
Mm.
Ernie's family.
Oh,
So those are birth people and the birth dates of people that were born in Ernie's family.
Right.
how precious.
And then on the right here is my
Mhm.
grandfather, my great grandfather. The picture down in the center of the page is a picture of my mother and her siblings
Mm.
and some nieces and nephews. I'm not in that picture.
Yes, that is.
And then behind the strip would be my grandmother, and up, and then we have a more current photo of our family reunion within the last 10 years, I guess.
Oh, nice. Oh,
But the one in the center, I was going to surprise you guys with. Here we think those people in the center are probably, don't they kind of resemble Ernie and I?
just a
That,
little bit.
that really could be that our parents knew each other a few generations ago.
Maybe so. You never know.
You think so?
I think so. I'll buy that.
Actually, we went to the state fair and they had those costumes for people to put on so that they could be dressed up like their grandparents might have been.
Yeah.
So that actually is Ernie and I.
And real quickly, you told me about your grandmother who lived in Cadiz. Is that the way you pronounce
Yeah, Cadiz,
it?
Cadiz,
Cadiz. You can tell
is the.
what cities I know in Ohio. Okay.
But actually, she lived in Hopedale for a long time. That's about 10 miles away from Cadiz, but Cadiz is a more popular city in that area, town in that area. None of them probably have more than 10,000 people, and
Okay.
Hopedale probably, when I was going, only had about 400 people.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Home
Nice.
Clark, man.
So
Cadiz.
she lived in a place in Hopedale that was kind of up on a hill,
Mhm.
and off in the distance, a train would go by, and people would look for that house passing by. It was during the Depression. People would get off the train and go to her house, and she would help them, give them supplies to freshen up and feed them, and then pack them some food to take with them in their little knapsack. Is that what it's called? That little,
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
Mhm.
Knapsack.
yeah. And so they would then they would go on their way. So I kind of, in my heart, kind of feel that our family was probably involved in the Underground Railroad some kind of way,
Yes.
because because of the habit of taking in people and strangers and helping them to
And
find their way.
The location.
Since our family has been here in Ohio for, my family has been in Ohio, both sides actually. My mother's side was here in Southern Ohio since 1826. And then my father's side, probably just a little bit less, maybe 1850.
Wow.
And so that kind of gives me, everybody was in the movement at that time.
Yes.
Everybody kind of helped each other along.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, tell us about, your family. You told us about your daughters. We could talk about your daughters and all the work that they've done. Here,
Yeah,
pictures. You have wonderful pictures.
This is an event that we participated in. It was called Hands Across America.
Yes.
So we were participants in that. That was a nice event.
That's
No,
wonderful.
that was up on Warrensville and Warrensville Center Road.
Brings back memories. When you said that, I was like, oh, yes. And that happened as well. Yes, more family pictures. Tell us.
More family pictures. And this is Melanie's family. and all the boys, and Cheyenne, their little girl.
Oh, wonderful.
And over to the right is our grandson Regis and his wife. And
They were married last year.
they were married last
Oh,
year.
nice.
So we just feel really, really fortunate to have such a great family, such great kids, really, really great kids. Everybody has their drive, their determination, their focus, their direction, and which means an awful lot.
Yes.
And they're
And
nice people
oh,
too.
here, and this is a picture of your grandchildren?
Yeah, these are our grandchildren as well. Um, they're actually the same grandchildren. There's just three different ones on here. The girls are different. The little girl is up in the upper right hand corner, and then our other granddaughter in the bottom right. So it looks like we have a bunch of athletes and a princess.
Looks like that. They can make a team.
Yeah, they can make a team.
Different
They have all the sports covered.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yes. And you shared with me also that you had foster children.
Yeah, we did. We had some MRDD foster children that actually adults that stayed with us for a while.
Right.
They probably were with us about 5 years, right,
Mm.
Ernie? I would say.
Yeah, 5, 6, maybe 8 years.
Yes. Yes, and Ernie, I think
Yeah,
I remember you telling us a story about one time when one of them acted like he needed a ride somewhere.
right. We after we had stopped doing that, one of the young man that was living with us, he came by and he said that he missed his bus. And we know that if he caught a bus, he had to be on the bus and get off the bus to come to our house, because he would have caught his bus and it would have taken him right to where he was going. But he said he missed the bus and he came down. And after we talked for a little bit, he wanted to tell us that he really enjoyed staying at our house, and thanked us, and
Oh.
asked if Ernie would take him to work because he had missed his bus.
Well, it sounded like a good excuse. It
Yeah,
worked. It
right.
worked.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now I know that you're retired, but doesn't sound like you're just resting and just letting life pass away, and in this pandemic, we're all trying to stay busy in some way. But Ernie, I understand there are other things that you've done since you've retired.
Yes, I've been retired since 2000, and that's a few little parties I've had over here on the left,
Yeah.
and that's Mel and Monica on each side of me.
Looks like they took you to a birthday party,
Yeah, I remember.
celebration or something. They were there.
Right, yeah.
And
And
who's
then,
this on the right? I think I recognize them.
Yeah, we were Mr. and Mrs. Claus at several of the senior events at
Yeah.
the Shaker Senior Center.
right.
Yeah. And I told you, I think my grandson probably had been on your lap, Ernie,
Probably.
Yeah,
Ernie Tubbs Jones. Yes, I'm sure. When we were talking on the phone the other day, and I wasn't, I didn't know who you were. And then you said you were the Santa Claus. I was like, oh, I know you.
yeah.
I know who you are. I know who you are. So this is just a wonderful, wonderful story just about, your lives. And I think just in terms of TRW and what TRW is now, people may not know that now it's Eaton Corporation. So,
It is a new corporation.
Yeah.
Now it's Eaton Corporation on Euclid Avenue.
Yes.
It was Argotech.
Right. It went from TRW to Architect, and then now Eaton has holds the company.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
after I
Ernie,
left there in 2000, I did a lot of driving. I
yes.
drove for FedEx for about 6 months for the Christmas holiday.
Mm.
And then I delivered packages for Reliable Runner, delivering mail downtown and outside of town.
Wow.
And then I started working at Alta House in Little Italy. It's a senior building. Well, it's not a senior. It's a building where seniors would go and hang out for the day.
Hmm.
Play bingos on Tuesdays, whatever. Then they transport them to hospitals or the grocery store.
Hmm.
Then I took over the maintenance of the building and had 3 people working under me in the building. And then me and 2 other persons would transport people to bingo or
Hmm.
even to casinos.
Oh, nice.
And then I left there and went to Pizza Hut for a minute. And then now I'm driving for the School of Transportation.
Oh, now, did you say now?
Now,
Okay, all right, okay. Okay. So you never get tired, right? You just never rest. That's wonderful. And it's just obvious that you just love giving to people. I mean,
yeah,
that is very obvious. You can't,
somebody just said I never retire.
you
No, you
never
did it.
retire. No, no, no. Just whatever way it is that
See
you
it.
will give. That's just
Well, even if I'm not doing that, I'm working around the house 24/7.
okay, okay. And there's a picture, and I don't know if there are others that you have, John, but there is one event that, of course, Monica had, getting the community together. Monica has us do things we never envisioned. Here we are.
Here
Yeah.
we are at
So
Staying
tell,
Alive.
for anybody who may not know, about this particular event, if you can share with us, what was happening here.
Yeah, we were having a porch party. Monica organized this Staying Alive event, and people were staying. They were at home at their own house, and the camera guy would walk down the street and just kind of film different families having their porch gatherings. And this happens to be ours, and we have our grandchildren and Monica over here
Nice.
that joined us that day.
Yes,
That
yes.
was a fun day.
Many of
Very
us
nice
remember.
event.
We remember that day. We remember that day, bringing the community together. And at that point, we did not know what were we going to do? Here we're in this pandemic.
Right,
Right.
right,
And who
right.
knew and here it is November. I don't remember what time that was, but there has never been any end to ways of, engaging with one another. Witness to history, just one of many opportunities, for us to come together. And I want to just, thank you all, but I want to give our audience, an opportunity to chime in with any questions. I see a lot of chats here. Um, if anybody has any questions for you, I will open up for questions at this particular time. One of the things I do want to ask though, because your work was so precise, and I'm sure, your energy and all that you had to think about doing your work, did you miss it when you left?
Not at all. No, I really didn't miss it because typically it was a very, very long day.
Mhm.
Many days, many times we worked 7 days a week,
Hmm.
and sometimes mostly 10 hours a day.
Hours.
And so it was kind of exhausting. It was a long, no, I
Yeah.
really didn't miss it very much. I
Okay.
missed the hospital a lot. I
Oh.
missed Mount Sinai because
Mhm.
the spirit that was there,
Mhm.
and the people that were there, and their philosophy was just a great place for people to learn and to work.
Oh, that's wonderful. And some of us in the room today know Mount Sinai because we were born there.
Yeah,
You
some
know,
of us, some,
a lot of Cleveland babies were born in Mount Sinai.
a
And,
lot of them.
yes, yes, yes. So, does anybody have questions? I never really retired. Yes, that's for
I
sure.
would like to add, Mount
Sure.
Sinai's philosophy was that they had to treat everybody with respect.
Hmm.
That was the housekeeping department, the orderlies, the aides, the nurses and doctors, of course, but everybody in that building, they felt they needed to treat with
Hmm.
respect because they knew that everybody's job was important. They knew that if the hospital wasn't clean and the housekeeper wasn't cleaning it good, that was really defeating the purpose of the hospital. And so they treated everybody with respect. If one of the surgeons had a Christmas party, he didn't just invite his doctor friends, he invited everybody in surgery, everybody that was responsible for keeping the surgery room clean, the housekeeping, the maintenance people, everybody was invited to that party and treated like they were as important as the next person.
That's wonderful. I wonder if that same philosophy exists in our healthcare
I
system.
haven't seen it anywhere
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Nice.
lately.
I haven't.
So there was a little story that you told me about Monica when she was very young. You know how it is that you didn't have to really worry about her because she had kind of a sense of her own.
Oh, yeah.
So if you'd like to share, this is what we talked about, Monica.
This is
So
probably not one that she wants to hear, but I'm just going to embarrass you a little bit, Monica.
here's
Uh,
Monica.
Monica was, I guess she was about 4. I was at Mount Sinai and I had worked really a long shift. And maybe I was a little sick or something, I don't know, but I was kind of dozing off and not really, being engaged because Monica she liked watching TV. So I knew as long as the TV was on, Monica, there was no problem. She never got into anything that she wasn't supposed to. But this particular day, she comes in and she wakes me up, pokes me, jars me, "Hey, Mom, I took some aspirin. I only took 2, so don't worry about it, because I had a headache." And so I started to panic because she said she took aspirin. I didn't know if she knew, anything about that. But then after I went in, I had to run in and count to see how many were gone. And there were only 2 gone out of a new bottle. So yeah, Monica's always been
Taking care of
Monica.
herself. Taking care of herself.
Taking care of things, taking care of herself. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I do have a question here from Marty Dunn. Where do you work transportation at this time?
Where
Where do you
Where do you work
what
transportation?
company are you?
I'm with the Suburban School of Transportation. We're transporting challenging kids or mentally challenged kids. Right now, some of the schools are not back in session.
Yes.
So until all of them are back in, then we'll go back and take some of them as well.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm sure that they really appreciate you. Lee. Lee had a question.
That was me. I was born at Mount Sinai.
Okay. That was okay. I'm sorry. I heard somebody, but I couldn't hear very well.
Lee said that
This
she
is
was.
Lee. I didn't have a question. I was saying me. I was born at Mount Sinai.
Oh, you were born at Mount
Oh.
Sinai. We could probably take a poll to see how many people were born at Mount Sinai.
Right.
A number of people born in Mount Sinai. But Ernie, you were telling us too that when you moved on Wade Park, you were in the East High
Yeah, I
district.
was. Yeah, I was wanted to go to East Tech. I wanted to get into the trades, but I was out of my district to go to East Tech. So the only place to go was East High. And East High did not have any trades there. So my mom tried to get me in Mass Hayes, and I'm still out of my school district. But Thomas Edison was open to the whole city of Cleveland. And a few of my relatives didn't want me to go there because they felt it was at one time was a bad boys school. And but I had a cousin going there, so I really didn't have anything to worry about. But he was a big, tall, husky guy.
Okay.
So I went to Thomas Edison and learned all the trade they had there. Electronic, TV, radio, woodshop, welding. I made all kind of projects there. When they had an industrial contest, I made the first pair of pliers there. I drew my own blueprint for it. And I made the first monkey wrench, and I made a program for that.
Okay.
And put that in a contest, and I won first place on that project. And I made a lamp with a giraffe figure, and I got second place for that because I duplicated something that was already there.
Oh, okay.
But so that's why I ended up at East Tech, and I learned all my trades there, and I carried that on with me wherever I went.
Wow.
And then not only this there, but I also learned a lot from my uncles who were carpenters.
Yes.
And my one uncle was a heating and air conditioner guy. And my grandfather was a carpenter.
Oh,
He had
wow.
built a home down there on 40th in Cedar
Oh, is that right?
years ago.
Oh my goodness.
But that home is gone now.
Okay. I told you I'm gonna have you come in my class. You know, I teach a Cleveland African American history class. And we've talked about Cleveland schools, you know, just even about how it is that students couldn't go to some schools they wanted to, and kind of on and on and on and on. But it's very important for us to hear too that you walked out of high school with a trade. And you know, and Jan, you did as well. You had a skill that then you walked right into a job.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, very jobs in high demand.
That was very helpful for us at that time.
Yes, it was.
Yes. And I understand, Ernie, that you have a distinction in terms of, you know, where you were placed in your high school class.
Yeah, I come out of the top of my class.
Yes.
1963.
All right.
I was a valedictorian.
Valedictorian. All right. Bragging rights there. That's for sure. And also, Monica's bringing to our attention that you were in the area in 1966 when there was the Huff riots.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was leaving work one day, and this was after curfew. And I came up out of the old Liberty Boulevard onto Whyte Park, coming off of the Liberty Boulevard onto Whyte Park. And there were National Guards up there. And they stopped me and wanted to know what was I doing. I said I was on my way home from work. You know, there's a curfew. I said, well, yeah, I know it, but I had went to work early in the day, and I'm on my way home. And the one guard threw a knife out in the street and told me to get out and go get it. I said, oh no, I'm not getting out. And by that time, a captain, I guess he was a captain or a lieutenant, he pulls up in his Jeep. I want to know how everything was going. Oh, everything's all right. Go and get out of here. So I went on my way. Thank God for whoever that was.
Yes. That, you know, well. Question here from Diane McIntyre, who is my sister. Were the two of you in a union when you were at TRW?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the union?
The UAW, local 20.
What was
Okay.
the other union?
The other union was AWA, which was pretty much a company union. Well,
Yeah.
they controlled it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was the AWA, and then the UAW came and took over. That made a big difference.
Okay. And Monica wants to add to the story. And we have a blue bomber in the room. Seal is from East High. There we are. We got you in there.
Right, Theo?
All right. Even though Ernie didn't end up going to East High, but you know, we have East High in the room.
Yeah, hey,
Very good.
sorry about that.
Very good. That's fun. And so Monica says she wants to add to the story that you were in the blizzard of 1977.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Was,
Yes, we were.
That was a tough.
And
I was working at Mount Sinai that day, and they let everybody off because they said off early because they said there was gonna be a big blizzard. And so we all got off work probably about 2:00. And I took my normally it would take me about 15 minutes to um, get to and from work, but I didn't get home from 2 o'clock until 9 or 10 o'clock that night
Ooh.
because the snow was bad. It really hadn't been plowed. We had to go up. The normal route was to go up. Was that Fair Hill?
Fair Hill.
Oh,
And
try to get up that street.
yeah,
Hey,
so that was it. I think I probably wouldn't have gotten home until maybe 12 or later than that. But I took a side street, right, the side street going up Fair Hill. There's one street you can turn before you get to, what's the name of that? Before you get to East, is that East Boulevard?
the
Wow.
Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Right. So I took a side street, and there was a couple there that was their car had conked out, run out of gas or something, and so I picked them up and just took them to a more populated area,
Mm-hmm.
and then went on home. But I didn't get home till about 10. But I think if I had followed that route all the way up Fair Hill,
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't have gotten home till maybe 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a long
Right.
time. Yeah.
Right. I think
Maybe
a
I
lot,
would have run out of gas.
I think a lot of us have memories of that. I think I was in 77. I can't remember where it was. I think I was in Columbus. I'm not going to tell you that story. I think we all have our blizzard stories. You know, my car ended up in the impound lot because it wouldn't start. And that was my story. I was like, well, you know, everybody's car stopped. You know, come on, give me a break. I understand so we know Monica.
Mm-hmm.
So introduce us to Melanie and the work that she does.
Oh, yeah. Melanie is a nurse. Melanie is a dialysis nurse. And interestingly enough, when I was, no. I was thinking that I did some work in dialysis, but I didn't work in dialysis. Melanie's father worked as a dialysis nurse at Mount Sinai. So that's probably how that happened. But yeah, Melanie's been a dialysis nurse for quite a while now, probably 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I might work with Melanie in dialysis.
Who's that?
What's that?
We just had eye surgery. We had our cataracts removed about 4 days ago.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, this past week.
Last Tuesday.
This past Tuesday.
25 years.
So everything's kind of bright.
Yes. Well, thank you, Melanie, for your work. My goodness.
70
and this time, oh my goodness. I mean, thank you. It's
27
just not enough.
years. Maybe that was
just not enough. Not at all. Not at all. Anybody else have any questions? Everybody has their blizzard stories. If we were in Ohio, we all have. Hi, Monica. Are you raising your hand?
Melanie is also a teacher.
I think you're muted.
Say it again. No.
Melanie is also a teacher.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
I just wanted to add to their love story.
Oh, go right ahead.
Me and my sister used to be teenagers are always nauseated when their parents are very affectionate. And so there was a period of time where they worked different shifts. They worked together for a long time, and then Dad got put on third shift or a later shift, and so they had a split shift. So they would leave little cutesy notes to each other on their machines and on the refrigerator at the house, passing by and everything like that. The reason I thought of the 77 blizzard is that I heard today that they're coming out with a I Survived 2020 shirt. So it reminded me of I've Survived.
Oh, yes. We'll all be looking for that one.
Yes, we will.
Absolutely.
I mean, we'll have a whole bunch of stories.
Everybody's
oh gosh, yes.
Ooh-wee. Tell me your story. It's like, how much time do you have? Oh boy,
Absolutely.
This is quite a year. And Kevin's asking, could you tell us more about your family's history in
Caddis?
In Caddis.
Yeah, sorry to cross there.
More about the family history there.
We had, our family was a mining family.
Mm.
So my grandfather, I've heard stories of him. They, you know, he walked to work. I don't know how far he walked, but I've heard stories of when he came home from work that his clothes could stand in the corner in the winter because they were frozen solid
Oh my goodness.
from that. And they didn't have the same kind of clothing we have now. We have clothing that kind of keeps us warm.
Mhm.
People back then would put underwear on and long johns on in
Mhm.
the fall and wouldn't take them off. Well, what I mean,
Yeah.
not that they'd keep the same ones on. Maybe they did. I don't know, but
No.
they would wear long johns all winter
Mm.
um, because it was kind of cold. We didn't have the houses didn't have the insulation,
Mhm.
so it was probably a pretty excruciating existence for most
Mhm.
people that lived in that period.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And they survived and they went on and here we
Yeah, they
are. Here we
survived
are.
and they
Yes, they
moved
did.
on and
And they
and
and they helped other people in the meantime.
right.
I understand that your daughter Melanie was a teacher. I mean, is this another, you're a nurse now? Were you a teacher before? Is this your next career?
Okay.
I guess she's talking to
No.
Mel.
Okay. I can unmute now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey
Yeah,
Mel,
we can hear you.
look at you. We can see you.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Hi.
No, when I went to school, I had got my bachelor's degree in nursing from Cleveland State,
Mhm.
and then I got my master's degree in nursing education from Walden University.
Mm.
So I was teaching at Tri-C.
Oh,
I taught like first year, second year nursing students,
wow.
and I was a simulation specialist at Tri-C, all three campuses.
Mm, mm, mm.
So I taught for while I was working. The
Oh,
other
oh
child.
boy. Wow. What
Yeah.
did you call it, part-time?
Yeah,
You were teaching.
Yeah, I was an adjunct. Yeah,
Wow.
so I did
I'm
lab.
sure
I taught
they would,
lab.
and if you're willing to do it again, I'm sure they'll bring you right back. Nursing.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure. That's wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. Anybody
you.
have any more questions? Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mel.
Yes. Margaret Simon. Yes. Love story,
I
full
can't
life.
see any.
Thank you for
That's
sharing it
great
with
for
us.
a
That's
lot.
from
Thank
Margaret
you.
Simon. Yes. Oh, here's some more wonderful pictures. Wonderful
This
pictures.
is just several dates. I think the one on the right is one of our anniversary pictures.
Mhm.
And the one on the left, we were in Boston.
Yeah, we were just visiting some relatives in
Yeah.
Boston. We have
Yeah.
quite a few relatives in Massachusetts.
Mm. Mm. This is just wonderful. And we have this wonderful pleasure of, being in this community together. I mean, that's
Yeah,
how this all just happens.
right.
And if we don't, ask, we won't know,
And,
the richness of people's stories. I mean, I could just imagine just young people listening to your stories and understanding what they can learn from you. You're still giving and giving
Well, hopefully there's
over
something
and
that
over and over again. It's just absolutely wonderful. So
hopefully there's something that they will find useful in our
oh, wow.
stories.
Well, like I said, I think that one of the wonderful benefits that we have here in Shaker Heights is that, it's a small enough community that we can have, an institution like the public library say, we're going to house these stories,
okay.
and then, everybody can benefit from this. And so, and I teach, I teach at Cleveland State the value of, primary sources, the stories coming right from you. And I think about how sometimes we say, we want young people to do things like, learn a trade. learn a trade, you know, have something that you know that nobody can ever take away from you. And clearly, you know, the other part of it is, you know, in your story, so much is just about your family, you know, your family. And, you know, it's just the beautiful pictures that you have. And to be able to share that with us, you know, goes, you know, so far. It's so rich, just so wonderful to have you with us this evening.
Thank you. It's really
So,
been
well,
nice to
thank
be here.
you. Thank
That's
you
all
so
right.
much. And thank you to your daughters as well.
Thank you,
You know, who bring
girls.
so
Thank
much to
you.
us. Thank you all. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty.
It's our pleasure.
You all have a wonderful evening. So if anybody's interested in being a guest on Witness to History or any questions that you might have, you can call me. That's my phone number. That's my cell. It's always somewhere close by. And also, I do respond to that particular email. Just keep in mind, Witness to History is the second Sunday of each month at 6 o'clock. And so, you know, we're always interested in people who are interested in being on the other side of my questions. There'll be some conversation that we'll have. And then, you know, we'll have this opportunity to have this wonderful opportunity to share our stories with our neighbors and anyone, absolutely anyone who
Yeah.
wants to join us. Zoom has made this possible so we can be, you know, in our homes and near and far, and to be able to learn from each other and just the warmth of the company that we keep the second
Yeah.
Sunday of each month.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ernie and Jan Jenkins.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Monica and
Thank
Ellen.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guests.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you. Good night, everybody. Have
Good
a
night.
Good
wonderful
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Yes,
Thank you,
John,
John.
always John. What would we do without you?
This is wonderful as always.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It was wonderful. Thank you, Donna.
Great.
Oh, you're
Bye,
welcome.
everybody.
Thank you. Oh.
I don't know what to do.
Love you all. Bye.
Love you
Love
too.
you.